Today I'm going to walk you through how to load the Broadband Fabric ServiceLandscape and NetworkPlan data into QGIS. If you've purchased the data through CostQuest's sales team, the load process will be slightly different than if you've purchased the data through Truvera, our online data marketplace. I'll highlight when that process is different, but it starts the same. So first, we'll load the BSL file into QGIS, or if you purchase through Truvera, your file might be named ServiceLandscape or NetworkPlan. First, we'll go up to this Open Data Source Manager. You can also see that in this Layer tab, you'll also find the Data Source Manager or the option to add a layer. They all take you to the same spot, but we'll go ahead and open that Data Source Manager. And the data is a delimited data source, so as you can see here, there are many different types of data you can load into QGIS, but for this file specifically, it's a delimited text layer. And so this is the option we will choose. You'll come up here to where it says Browse. It'll open a file folder, and from here you can navigate to where that data source is stored. Once you've clicked on your file, this geometry section should populate with the latitude and longitude fields in these X and Y field areas. So double check that they're filled in. Typically, they auto-populate if their field names are similar to latitude and longitude. So once that's all set up, you can press Add. You can then close your screen, and then you can see the fabric data file is now imported into QGIS, and you can visually see the location points. You'll also see that the layer has been added on the left-hand panel over here as well. As you can see, currently there's no base map on this map. So if you do want a base map, if you scroll down on this left-hand panel, there's a section called XYZ tiles. If you're not seeing any options under this XYZ tile, you are able to add them by right-clicking and selecting New Connection. To add a new connection, you'll need to Google a URL to use for the XYZ tiles. So for example, if I wanted to add OpenStreetMap, just Google OpenStreetMap URL for QGIS and a good answer should pop up. And you'll just insert that into where this URL is and you'll press OK. So for example, if I wanted the OpenStreetMap, I'll just double click and now you can see that base map with those location points. So if you bought from Truvera, this is all you'll have to do. You'll just have to do one data load and you'll see the locations as well as all the fields associated with that data that you bought over here. If you've purchased ServiceLandscape or NetworkPlan data through CostQuest sales team, you'll have to do a few more steps to bring in the remaining files. You'll go back to that data source manager and you'll have to select a new file. So this time we want to load the Fabric's BDC data file. This time this data source does not have a latitude and longitude, so this geometry definition won't pre-populate. So you just come and select no geometry and it'll just bring the data in as another table. So as you can see in this left-hand panel, that new table has been added, but you can't toggle it on and off because it has no spatial attributes. So in order to get that data linked to the data that is viewable, you'll right-click on that original layer you brought in, you'll select Properties, and within Properties on the left-hand pane, there's a section called Joins. You'll click Join, and then you'll click this plus button at the bottom. From here, the Join layer represents the layer you would like to join to. So in this instance, we want to join to the BDC sample data file, and then the join field is the field from the join layer that we would like to connect to, which in our case is location ID. And then the target field is the field from, in this case, the BSL sample data that we want to join to. So again, it's location ID. It will always be location IDs for this data. And from there, if there are any fields you don't want to bring in, you can go into this Join Fields section and highlight the fields you do want to bring in versus what you don't. If you leave it unchecked, all of the fields will be joined. So then we'll press OK. And once we've pressed OK, that join is now viewable here at the top. So we know that we've joined the table. We have to press Apply for it to actually work. But once we press Apply and press OK, if we right-click into that spatial layer and open the attributes table, we will now see all the fields from the BDC table as well. Now we're going to load in the last fabric file to bring all the attributes together. Again, the same process as before, you'll navigate to where that file lives. Again, because this does not have latitude or longitude, we can just say no geometry, it's just an attribute table. We'll click Add, And similar to last time, we'll have to join this new attribute model sample data with the spatial layer. So again, to do that, you'll just right click, select properties. We're going to just add another join. Again, it pre-populated correctly, so we're joining to the Kalamazoo model sample data on the location ID fields from both layers. Again, I want all of the fields joined to come through, so I'll just go ahead and press OK. Sometimes it just takes a minute to load. And once again, that new join layer will pop up in this joined list. We'll press apply, OK. And then again, if we were to open the Kalamazoo BSL sample attribute table, all of those fields from the model sample would be there as well. If you don't want to open up the table to check that those fields have come through, you can use this identify tool at the top. You just have to make sure you're highlighting the layer that you're looking at, which in our case is the BSL sample data. And then we can click on one of those points, and in the right-hand pane, you'll see the feature. And then you can see all the fields that are now associated with it. And as you can see, we have that BDC join table as well as the model sample fields. So all of those fields are now connected. Again, the last two joins are only if you bought data through the CostQuest sales team. If your data is coming from Truvera, all you have to do is load that one file that I demonstrated at the beginning of this video, and it will have all the fields already attached.